I'm Dr. Anthony Harper. You're blessed to be in Israel at the Knesset with the MK Dan Illouz of the Likud Party. Thank you, MK Illouz, for joining me on the so important issues regarding rise of anti-Semitism. What can be done more to combat that? So what are your top concerns about this overall rise of anti-Semitism in light of the International Criminal Court's decisions recently?
Look, the International Criminal Court's decision is absolutely ridiculous. It's not justice, it's a travesty of justice. It's basically as if after World War II, instead of putting the Nazis on trial in the Nuremberg trial, the international community would put the Allied forces, the free world, on trial. On October 7th, we were brutally attacked by a terrorist group, a bloodthirsty terrorist group. I don't even want to go back on everything they did, raping women, murdering children with their families, burning them alive, etc. And when we're defending ourselves and following international law when doing that, the International Criminal Court comes and attacks us. This is not justice. It's travesty of justice. It's ridiculous. It's taking sides. When you're trying to make moral equality between good and evil, you're not balanced. You're just evil. That's what you're doing, because you're trying to make a balance between horrible people that Hamas are and a democracy, freedom-loving democracy, which Israel is. There's no balance to be found. It's like trying to find balance between a firefighter and an arsonist. And that's what we're seeing right now in international courts. This is fueling a lot of anti-Semitism that's happening worldwide, and this is very much unfortunate, but Israel will stand strong. We're not going to bow down to this type of pressure. We're going to stand strong because we know that that's what we need to do in order to survive, in order for the free world to survive. We're on the front lines right now, but the whole free world right now is being attacked.
So because of the International Criminal Court's decisions, so you're saying that all this anti-Semitism on the streets, on the university campuses, that these courts' decisions are really fueling all this? It's
fueling. It existed even before the courts, but now they're getting other excuses for all of this anti-Semitism. And you have to know, anti-Semites, they existed before, they exist now. They're always looking for the best excuse for their horrendous actions. And now the court is giving them another excuse. Again, a baseless excuse. Speaking of Israel and calling it, claiming that it's, as the International Court of Justice is claiming that it's committing genocide, is completely ridiculous. If Israel wanted to commit genocide, I want to tell you things would look very different in Gaza. We're not such a nation. We're trying to pinpoint our attacks only against terrorists, try to protect civilian lives. We're not at all going in that direction, but it's completely ridiculous to even claim such a claim. And the same thing, comparing Netanyahu, the leader of a freedom-loving democracy that follows international law, to Sinwar or death, and equating between them. It's moral travesty. That's what it is. It's travesty. It's not justice. It's nothing like justice.
What did you mention? I've been covering this issue at the White House, and so often this anti-Semitism is really also Jew hatred of Jewish people. And how much do you hear about that comment about Jew hatred?
There's a lot of when you look at the way Israel is being treated differently and than every other democracy in the world, that double standard means that there's discrimination, and that discrimination must come from somewhere, and I think it comes from Jew hatred. It's because we're the only Jewish nation around the world, and that's why people who have hated Jews for centuries and generations are again using that same double standard against Israel, and that discrimination comes from a source, and I think it's Jew hatred.
What's your message to Christians in America that support Israel?
First of all, we very much appreciate that support. We feel it in Israel. We know that there is a strong link between the Christian community in the United States and Israel. It's based on very deep moral values, an understanding of the historic period in which we're living. And we want to first of all thank you for that support and ask you to also keep supporting us, stay strong, keep lobbying your government for it to be strong. The Israel-America alliance is incredibly important. It hasn't always been as strong as we wished in the last year, but we're very hopeful for it to be strong in the next few years. And there's a new administration coming in. There's no secret that we're looking forward to a very good relationship with that new administration. And we think that in these historic times, it can be an administration that pushes the history even further, with maybe new peace treaties in the Middle East, with decisive victory against terrorists, and also dealing with the elephant in the room, which is Iran, which is really the player that's really fueling all of this hatred worldwide and also here in the Middle East.
So overall, would you say that Israeli people are very happy that President Trump is returning to the White House?
Listen, I have to be honest. I'm a politician in Israel, so I try not to interfere with international politicians. You know, there's American politicians that try to interfere with our politics here in Israel, and we really hate that. So I try not to do that in America, but we can say that Trump has a record of supporting Israel. We're very appreciative of that record, and we see a ton of opportunities because of his real love for Israel and our appreciation of that love. We think that we can work hand in hand in order to do historic things here for Israel and the Middle East and the whole world.
I remember President Trump defunding UNRWA, and that he moved the capital, the embassy, to Jerusalem. And were you there for that event?
I wasn't at the embassy opening itself, but we were incredibly. I was then a member of the Jerusalem City Council, actually. So we were incredibly appreciative of that. It took a lot of courage and a lot of principles, and he proved that when you stand strong and do the right thing, then all of the threats that those hateful people threaten you with, they're just blank threats. They don't actually actualize. And I hope that he once again takes the same direction. I believe that's what he'll do.
Well, it's great to have you join me today about these so important issues. It is very disturbing. And also wanted to relay to you and to everyone here about Christians' love and support for you and all of Israel in this very difficult time, and very sad about all the pain that you experienced here in Israel with October 7th. Very disturbing. And so many Christians are praying for victory for Israel in this battle against evil.
Thank you so much.
It's so painful.
It's a common battle for the free world, and we'll win. We will win. It's a difficult path, but we will win decisively.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.